I'm currently wearing a weapon, or at least that's what the creators of catalytic clothing want me to think. Because this shirt is literally meant to eat the smoke around me, using nothing but sunlight and chemistry. But according to them, you need 30 people per meter of pavement to clear the air in London, creating an unfashionable fashion trend just to lower nitrogen oxide by a fraction. Not only did it fail to deliver, the chemical coating on the clothes allowing them to break down the smoke would pollute the water system when washed. But if you think air purifying clothes are ambitious, wait till you see the next 6. We're going from failed fashion to billion-dollar machines that actually made the problems they were trying to solve worse. And the last project will break your heart. This is a framework laptop. It's kind of the perfect laptop because it's built like Lego. You can swap out, replace, and even upgrade parts of the laptop. It's a genius idea loved by a lot of people. But in 2016, Google had the same idea, but for their own phones. This was said to become a great value proposition. But there was one problem. The closer they got to a prototype, the more it looked like a tech-themed brick. But here's the crazy part. While Google was hyping up the 2017 release, engineers were screaming into the void of pain. They eventually realized they couldn't make the CPU modular, turning this Lego phone into a slightly regular phone. This ended up costing thousands of hours and millions of dollars, only to end up into Google's graveyard. For that, I'm giving it 2 disappointing bananas. But if Google couldn't engineer the phone of the future, surely the creator of Android could. Andy Rubin basically invented the soul of every non-Apple phone on Earth. He's a genius. But he fell into the trap of thinking just because he knew how to build the hardware, people would follow him into the software. Which, to be fair, was ahead of his time. The phone had a futuristic edge-to-edge design before almost anyone else. It also introduced premium materials like titanium before it became a whole phase for Apple and Samsung. It also introduced a notch before Apple made them basically unavoidable. But there was one elephant in the room. Nobody could explain why they should buy it. The camera was average, the software wasn't revolutionary, and the accessories barely existed. And the one thing Essential did have, a beautiful design. But it wasn't enough to convince people to ditch the phones and brands they already love to pick up a $699 phone. Within 6 months, they sold 90,000 units. To you and me, that's a lot. To a $300 million company, that's like showing up to a heavyweight boxing match with gold-plated gloves only to get knocked out in the first 3 seconds because you forgot how to throw a punch. For wasting $300 million on a titanium flop, 2.5 bananas of disappointment. But if Google fell into the hardware trap, Lily fell into the mirage trap. This is what happens when you get so addicted to the hype that you treat the CGI renders as the final product. Imagine throwing a camera into the air and it follows you everywhere, like a personal cameraman. Drone. That's exactly what Lily promised. A tiny drone camera that followed you while you skied, cycled, surfed, or traveled. And people absolutely loved it. Within weeks, the company raked in more than $34 million in pre-orders. Investors powered in with the media calling it the future. But just hold on a second. It turns out the footage they used during advertising wasn't filmed by the Lily drone. Instead, they used the Lily drone and strapped on a GoPro on it. Their biggest competitor. It's like Apple bragging about their latest phone's zoom capabilities but using a Samsung camera. So while the marketing team was winning awards, the engineering team was living in a horror movie. The battery was failing, the software was crashing, and the waterproof design, well, it was more like a water magnet. In 2017, the mirage evaporated. No drones, just lawsuits, refunds, and a lot of broken hearts. For selling a dream and delivering a legal battle, 3 disappointing bananas. Lily faked footage to get $34 million. Magically, well, they managed to convince Google, Alibaba, and every major bank to give them $4.7 billion. To put that into perspective, you could have bought the NBA's Golden State Warriors and the New York Mets and still have some change left over. All for a product that people had never seen. Because in the mid-2010s, Silicon Valley became obsessed with one question. What comes after the smartphone? Magic Leap claimed it had the answer. Instead of staring at screens, you could say digital objects blended in with reality. It was basically trying to be the Vision Pro of its time. Everyone wanted a ticket to what was being considered
The future of computing.
And the marketing that followed only fueled the hype. What comes up must come down. For starters, it looked like a welder's mask from Temu Star Wars and cost $2,300. We all bought something that looked great online but terrible in person. Magic Leap was the ultimate example of expectation versus reality meme. And after a decade of development, they didn't deliver.
The future of computing.
They delivered a very expensive reminder that billions of dollars can't fix a fundamental lack of focus. For burning enough cash to power a small country, 3 disappointing bananas. At least Magic Leap had the excuse that the technology was extremely difficult at that time, but Jawbone's downfall came from something much smaller. So, it's 2011 and Jawbone is unstoppable. They're building the coolest gadgets on the market. The Bluetooth headsets were everywhere. The Jambox speakers were a massive hit. Customers, investors, Silicon Valley all loved them. So when Jawbone announced that would create a wristband that would track your health, sleep and exercise, it sounded like the easiest success story in the world. But it ended all because of one dumb mistake. They basically built a device for robots and sold it to humans because they tested the bands in tanks of water for water resistant, but forgot that humans also have oils and dirt, making it the perfect watch if your name is Aquaman, but a terrible $150 mistake if you purchased it. The recall cost them $100 million. To put that into perspective, that's about the price of 660,000 of their Jambox speakers. For building a human tracker that couldn't handle actual humans, 4 disappointing bananas. Most Ford products leave people frustrated. This one left them heartbroken. Meet Moxie. It wasn't just a gadget, it was an $800 attempt at building a soul. Designed to teach children empathy and companionship skills, Moxie was supposed to be the AI companion we've seen in sci-fi movies for years. And for a while, it worked. Children didn't see a circuit board, they saw a friend. But there was one problem. Because such an AI couldn't run locally, it relied on servers far away. So when the company ran out of cash, they didn't just stop selling robots, they pulled the plugs on the ones already living in people's homes. Imagine having to explain to your 6-year-old kid that their best friend suddenly went off because the company running them went broke. For turning a childhood friend into a plastic statue overnight, 5 disappointing bananas. The highest score. So, sometimes a complex problem doesn't demand a complicated solution.